What is climate change? Climate change is the term for what is happening to the climate right now. This includes life across the world, including in the global ocean. It could destroy the world that has been cultivated thus far. Why? This is because greenhouse gases are building up in the Earth's atmosphere and trapping the heat sources in. This in turn heats up our world, creating numerous effects and consequences of varying danger levels. It isn't just greenhouse gases contributing to this problem either. Pollution plays a crucial role in the climate's current state. How does climate change affect the weather? Climate change causes more severe and more frequent weather disasters. This means that countries in harsher conditions experience more weather disasters than they would usually. This leads to more expenses in repairing any damaged buildings or infrastructures due to these severe conditions. This could lead to people becoming scared of the environment they live in. How does climate change affect the ocean now? As oceans absorb excess emissions, this becomes a threat to the whole marine ecosystem, but particularly to creatures with a calcium carbonate shell or skeleton, such as mollusks, crabs, and corals. This could certainly lead to the complete destruction of sea life biodiversity. Whole habitats and species could eventually be annihilated. This could upset certain food chains or hierarchy under the sea, which would in turn lead to more destruction and annihilation of species and routines. Humans would be affected too, as food and items originating from the ocean could become scarcer and more expensive. Economically, this could lead to insane inflation, or even just restrictions on certain seafood or processed goods and items. Around 90% of the excess heat from global warming is being absorbed by the ocean, which could lead to extinction for certain species of sea life. This is due to the fact that animals cannot deal with change as much as humans can, as their bodies are just not made for it. Due to certain species dying from the fact of the ocean warming, this could lead to broken ecosystems and food chains, which could result in more loss of sea life. Economically, this could drastically reduce the amount of food and items we humans collect from the sea, which could also lead to certain items being rare and being taken off the market. What else does climate change affect? The ice. Sea levels are rising, and as land ice starts to melt, this will threaten some of the world's largest cities. Ice is melting due to the greenhouse gases being trapped in from the rays of the sun and other heat sources. Environmentally, this could lead to the end for certain species like polar bears, as they dwell in the ice. And as the ice melts, their habitats could get smaller, which could anger them. This also directly leads to sea levels rising, which leads towns to floods across the globe, which could also lead to leaders spending a massive amount of funds for housing and feeding for victims of the floods. Did you know about a quarter of the globe's glacial loss from 1851 to 2010 and approximately two-thirds of glacial loss between 1991 to 2010 is a direct impact of global warming caused by human-produced greenhouse gases? This is resulting in massive changes due to certain wildlife and their ecosystems. What happens to the temperature now? Scientists have discovered that climate change is mostly due to human activity like burning fossil fuels being the main cause. By releasing greenhouse gases which trap the sun's heat, we cause the planet to warm. At the same time, we are destroying pollution capturers like forests. Did you know the global temperature has risen 1.4 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times? This difference in global temperature is quite capable of leading certain species to extinction. For example, the polar bears cannot live how they please anymore due to the land they govern being melted and taken away. This also affects how a polar bear would usually hunt its prey. And because of the temperature, there will be a higher death rate from heat waves and illnesses which can thrive in a warmer, wetter world, and from diseases made worse by pollution. It makes complete sense that diseases and bacteria could thrive better in a warmer, wetter world. Socially, this could make the entire population, especially those in third world countries, sicker. This would result in less people working, which would throw the world off balance economically. It could also result in certain important and necessary jobs paying more money as the work needs to be done to maintain the current way the world is. What happens to the animals now? Animals cannot adapt to a changing environment or a disappearing habitat. The population of animals across the globe would plummet due to the fact that the animals who live in the ice cannot deal with disappearing ice, nor can they deal with the new temperature of the earth, and animals who feast on these ones will also quickly disappear. It could also be a trouble for bees, who are makers of honey, and without them, we would have none of it anymore. They're also responsible for pollinating trees and flowers. Without the bees, the world would be in incredible trouble. In conclusion, it can be deduced that we must stop negatively contributing to climate change. Climate change is the cause of the destruction of ecosystems. It is also the culprit behind many species of wildlife across the globe becoming endangered. Climate change also causes extreme weather conditions, especially in countries with an already extreme temperature or condition. Because of this extreme weather, many infrastructures have been damaged, which then takes a lot of funds to repair. Many funds are also spent on reinforcing buildings against these harsh conditions. It can also be deduced the primary cause of global warming are the machines we have built emit too much greenhouse gases. Thanks for listening.